Okay. Your market set, go.
PTEC Course 3, Income Approach to Value, Section 5, Capitalization Procedures, Direct Capitalization, PAV, Chapter 14.
Yeah, that's the last chapter.
Learning Objectives. Define direct capitalization. Explain the procedures used to convert income into value using direct capitalization. Explain the use of market data deriving the cap rate used in the direct capitalization. Explain how to use effective tax rate. Explain how to derive gross rent multipliers and estimate value. Explain how to derive gross income multipliers and use them. Explain when multipliers should not be used. And calculate a property value using direct capitalization. Starting off with a chart. So we're going to read this across, down. How does it need to be read? Okay, so income estimate, PGR.
No, methods of direct capitalization. Okay, go. Now I'll start reading across.
Income estimate of PGR times PGRM equals the value, and the PGRM is the capitalization method. So it's income estimate multiplied by capitalization method equals value. So the next
income. No, is that right? Yeah. Income estimate. All right, go ahead.
So the next line, the income estimate is PGR plus secondary income equals PGI multiplied by capitalization method PGIM equals value.
Potential gross income multiplier.
The next income estimate is PGR minus VNC, which is vacancy and collection loss, equals the EGR,
which is effective gross rent,
and multiply that by the EGRM capitalization method to equal the value. The next income estimate is PGR less VNC loss plus secondary income equals EGI multiplied by capitalization method EGIM equals value. And the last one is income estimate PGR less VNC loss plus secondary income less allowed expenses equals NOI divided by OAR equals value.
That's what you're supposed to do. Income divided by the rate equals the value from the triangle. So I'm not sure how these other four are going to fit in just yet, but they are all multipliers. So it looks like we're doing something at every single level in this calculation, because remember that page we read the last time? This was all on one page. So let's just see how this all works together with this chart.
I have bated breath of anticipation. Such an exciting chapter.
Okay.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's not going to be scary. A. Define direct capitalization. PAV, page 346. Number 1. Direct capitalization. Converting NOI from the property into an indication of property value using an OAR developed from the market. Number 2, does not consider the land separate from the building, as do other techniques. Example, property A has an NOI of $15,000. An analysis of recent sales comparable to the subject indicates a 12% OAR for the subject property. So I divided by R equals V. So your V was equal to 15,000 divided by 0.12 equals $125,000 property value.
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty. B. Explain the use of market data in deriving the cap rate used in direct capitalization. PAV, pages 347 to 348. Number 1, if comparable sales are available, market analysis is the most reliable and accurate method. Number 2, it is more accurate in fact than yield capitalization. Number 3, if an income-producing property sells and you can calculate its NOI, you can divide NOI by the sale price to derive an OAR. Example: a small office building has NOI of $21,275. These three comparable office buildings in the area recently sold. Dividing the incomes for each by the appropriate sales price gives you the OAR. Sale number 1, the NOI is $25,000. The sale price is $217,000. Gives an indicated rate of 0.1152 because they took the $25,000 and divided it by the 217.
21,000? No, not in this case. It looks like they did the NOI of 25,000 divided by 217.
That's what I said.
No, I thought you said 21,000.
No.
Yeah, you said 21,000. Okay, so let's just double check. $11,500. Yeah. You don't have to read those other examples.
Okay, well.
You could read the text underneath. So.
Each of these cells indicates a different cap rate. In order to select the rate you will use, you must determine which property sold best resembles your subject. In practice, you must inspect each property and its operating statement to determine comparability. Given the information, Sale 3 is probably most comparable since its NOI is closest to the subject. Capitalizing your subject property's income at 10.5% gives you an estimated value of $202,619. $21,275 divided by 0.105.
Yeah.
Number 4. OARs derived by market analysis are only as reliable as the comparable sales used to develop them. Number 5. Physical factors to consider in selecting comparable sales: A. Location. B. Building size. C. Quality improvements. D. Architectural style. E. Effective age. Since a building's remaining economic life can significantly affect recapture, comparable properties should have the same effective age. And F. No comparable sale includes excess land unless the subject property does, since land and buildings are capitalized at different rates. Number 6. Financial factors to consider in selecting comparable sales: A. Gross income. B. V and C rates. C. Expense ratios. And D. NOI. If your subject has high expenses, you need to find comparables with high expenses. If your subject is in a good location and commands high rents, so should your comparables. Indicators such as NOI, NOI per comparison unit, expense ratio, expenses per comparison unit, and gross rent multiplier, and OAR can help appraisers determine the comparability of sales. C. Explain how to use effective tax rate to determine the loaded overall capitalization rate, OAR, PAV, pages 355 to 357. Number 1, cap rates show you the percentage of value reflected in a property's NOI. Number 2, lower expenses produce a higher NOI and a higher cap rate. Number 3, since property taxes are charged as a percentage of value, you leave them out in your expense analysis and add them up to the cap rate. Number 4, the resulting higher NOI and higher cap rate produce the same value estimate you would get using the lower cap rate and lower NOI. Since tax rates in Texas are expressed as dollars and cents per $100 of property value, you must convert the actual tax rate into a rate per dollar of value before you can add it to the cap rate. This step is simple. Divide the dollars and cents per $100 by 100. For example, if the tax rate is $1.75 per $100, then the tax rate as a percentage is 0.0175. You add 0.0175 to the cap rate instead of subtracting taxes as an expense.
This explains why you see it in two different formats all over the appraisal district.
Oh. Example, you have an OAR of 13%. Your subject property's EGI is $20,000.
That's effective gross income.
The tax rate is $2 per $100, and the property tax expense is $2,000. Other expenses equal $5,000. The chart below shows the results you get if you subtract property taxes as a fixed expense or if you add the tax rate to the cap rate.
No, this matters.
Do what?
This matters. Because you do different things with those taxes.
Okay, so
in each of those two examples, so yeah, we got to read the example.
Okay, so property taxes as expense, the EGI is
effective gross income.
Effective gross income is equal to $20,000 less other expenses of $5,000 less the tax expense of $2,000 gives you an NOI after taxes of $13,000. NOI divided by the rate is equal to 13,000 divided by 0.13. The estimated value equals $100,000.
Okay.
Example number 2.
That is property taxes as an expense. Now, property taxes in the cap rate or loaded cap rate. When you put property tax in the cap rate, it's called a loaded cap rate. So, okay. Go ahead.
So, property taxes in a cap rate. The EGI is the estimated gross income. Effective gross income of $20,000 less other expenses of $5,000. NOI before taxes is $15,000. The loaded cap rate is 0.13 plus 0.02 equals 0.15. NOI divided by rate is equal to $15,000 divided by 0.15. Estimated value $100,000.
Okay, so here's what they did. If you notice, in the property taxes as an expense, they take out the taxes in the top box. It's one of your factors. Follow me?
Yeah.
And when you're loading the taxes, well, you're loading the tax rate into the cap rate. So that means if you're going to take taxes out, you only take taxes out. If you're going to include the tax rate, which was 2%, and that was given in the property, then you don't take out taxes as expenses. You only add the 2% to the rate. That's all you do. So in one example, you're taking out the total taxes as an expense. In the other example, you're putting the tax rate into the cap rate. Okay. Go.
Number 5. This is bold. When building the tax rate into the cap rate, be careful to make sure not to subtract taxes as an expense and then build the tax rate into the cap rate. This mistake results in underestimated values.
And incorrect answers on a test.
Number 6, you may wish to label NOI as NOI before taxes when you are building the tax rate into the cap rate. Number 7, it is also referred to as NOI before recapture and taxes. Number 8. It may also be called a loaded cap rate when the tax rate is built in. In Texas, no established preferences exist between subtracting taxes as an expense and using a loaded cap rate. In general, appraisal districts use a loaded cap rate for new properties that have no expense history on which to base the property tax expense. In such cases, they load in the estimated effective tax rate at the time of the appraisal. Loaded rates are useful in times of rapid economic change when property tax expenses based on prior year reflect an outmoded value. Building the tax rate into the cap rate enables the property tax expense to float with property value. As a result, it should produce more accurate appraisals when economic conditions are changing. D. Understand how to derive gross rent multipliers and use them to estimate value. PAV, page 344. Number 1. The gross rent multiplier method is a simple form of income capitalization. To use the GRM method requires adequate and sufficient comparable sales information. Number 3. The GRM is calculated by dividing the sale price of the comparable sale by the property's rent. GRM is equal to sale price divided by rent. Number 4. The value of the subject is equal to the GRM multiplied by the expected rent of the subject property. GRM times rent equals estimated value. In most areas, appraisers use monthly multipliers for fourplexes and smaller rental properties, down to single-family residences. They use annual multipliers for larger properties such as apartment complexes. So, sale number 1, sales price $48,600, monthly rent $450, monthly GRM $108, annual rent $5,400, annual GRM is $9. Comparable number 2, $59,400, monthly rent $550, monthly GRM $108, annual rent is $6,600, annual GRM of $9. So comparable number 3, sales price of $56,700 is divided by monthly rent of $525,000 equals a monthly GRM of 108. Then you take the 108 times the annual rent of $6,300 to give you a 9 annual GRM. Subject rent $500 per month, $6,000 annual estimated value, subject equals rent times GRM, $6,000 annual rent times 9 annual GRM is equal to $54,000. $500 monthly rent times 108 monthly GRM is equal to $54,000. E. Understand how to derive gross income multipliers and use them to estimate value. Number 1, the gross income multiplier GIM method is closely related to the gross rent multiplier. Number 2, GRM method only considers rental income. And number 3, GIM method considers all sources of income to a property, including secondary income. Example, you are appraising an apartment complex where the property owner receives income from coin-operated washers and dryers located on the premises. Over the course of a year, these machines add $4,500 in secondary income to the rental income of $38,000. The GRM method does not include the laundromat income. The GIM method does. To develop a GIM multiplier, you have to find comparable sales that include laundromat income. Number 4, effective gross rent multiplier, EGRM, and effective gross income multiplier, EGIM. A. EGIM or EGRM should produce a more reliable value estimate than PGIM or PGRM. B. EGI provides a more exact indicator of the subject's ability to produce income. C. Accuracy of results depends on the accuracy of the income estimates, vacancy rates, expense estimates, and multipliers or cap rates. D. When you have inaccurate, unreliable, or outdated estimates of V and C rates, the PGIM method may prove more reliable. Example. You are appraising an apartment complex with 10 two-bedroom units renting for the units are renting for $550 and 15 one-bedroom units renting for $325. The V and C rate is 10%. The secondary income equals $2,700. In your area, the PGIM for comparable apartments is 12 and the EGIM is 14. Regardless of the multiplier used, you first calculate the subject's PGR. Type, 1 bedroom, $325 per month rent for an annual rent of $3,900. Number of units is 15. Subtotal is $58,500. Type, 2 bedroom, $550 month per rent. Annual rent of $6,600. Number of units 10. Subtotal of $66,000 for the subject's PGR of $124,500. Adding miscellaneous income $2,700 to PGR gives you the PGI. Multiplying by the PGIM gives you an estimated market value of $1,526,400. PGR is equal to $124,500 plus miscellaneous income of $2,700 equals PGI of $127,200 times PGIM of 12 equals estimated value $1,526,400. To calculate EGI, you must subtract V and C losses from PGR, not income, to get EGR, and then add miscellaneous income. To complete your first part, you can multiply the V and C rate times PGR and subtract the result, or you can subtract the V and C rate from 100% and multiply PGR by the remainder. EGR is equal to PGR times occupancy. Occupancy is equal to 100% less V and C rate. EGR is equal to 124,500 times 1.00 minus 0.10.
Oh, that 10% is the V and C rate.
Oh, okay.
They just don't tell you that.
Okay.
In the question.
EGR is equal to 124,500 times 0.90 equals $112,050. Then the EGI is equal to $112,050 plus $2,700 equals $114,750, or EGR is equal to PGR less V and C loss. V and C loss is equal to PGR times V and C rate. So V and C loss is equal to 124,500 times 0.10 equals 12,050. EGR then equals 124,500 minus 12,050 equals 112,050. EGI then equals 112,050 plus 2,700 equals 114,750.
So in other words, two ways to work that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And those numbers, they came from the above. Oh, this could be like one whole big problem. That top grid up there, that potential gross rent of $124,000 that was made at the top, or calculated at the top, is used in this problem. And then they give you more factors after you figure that, and then, okay, I'm seeing it. But I don't know where they got the 10%. They got it from the top problem.
Yeah, it's stated the VNC rate is 10%.
Yeah, I didn't realize though that this was one whole deal.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks like a level 3 question to me. Okay, like it could be.
There you go. EGI is the same, $114,750 using either method. Multiplying EGI times the EGIM of 14 gives you an indicated market value of $1,606,500. You must make sure you do not multiply EGR or EGI times a multiplier based on potential gross. Notice that these two techniques produce different value estimates for the same property. The PGIM method indicated a value of $1,526,400. The EGIM indicated $1,606,500. This difference arises because you capitalize the subject's property income stream at different points. Unless the subject income stream is identical to the typical properties, the one you use to derive your VNC rate and multipliers, these two multiplier methods will always indicate values that differ at least slightly. F. Situations where income multipliers should not be used. PAV, page 221. Number 1. If the subject's HBU is changing or will change in the foreseeable future. A. Current income only reflects the property's value in its current use, not the future use. B. The potential change in use creates additional property value for which the multiplier method cannot accurately account. Number 2. Beware of atypically higher or lower operating expense. A. Multipliers should reflect typical properties. B. If the comparable sales involved unusual expenses, the multiplier will be inaccurate. C. If your subject involves unusual expenses, your appraisal will be inaccurate. This concludes section 5. You may turn your page. Ding!